Hello, I'm Super Cold Chaos, and welcome back to the Shaman King Master of Spirits playthrough. In the last part, we defeated our best frenemy, I guess, Trey Racer. Although one thing that's interesting is that Trey's name is actually his dub name, the whole Trey bit. The actual name from him in the anime and the manga was Horo Horo. Although I'm debating with myself which one is dumber. But yeah, nothing special about this level, really. It's just finding those 3 ice users we fought before. You know, the Viking chick, the guy who shot the frozen bird, and the other Viking dude. If you're not used to fighting these guys, you might have some difficulties. Although I don't think you get the if you dodge them before, I don't think you get the Guardian Ghost that they had before, which is kind of lame, but it's something you just gotta deal with. And here, we actually get to use our new Guardian Ghost, Corey. Yes, Corey has the ability to freeze fire in place. I'm not sure how that works, but hey, it's anime. Corey's Napopo Punch also is useful. Let me rephrase that. Corey's Napopo Punch is also useful in battle since it allows you to freeze your enemies. Allow me to demonstrate. If it doesn't kill enemies in one hit, that'll probably be a better example. We're also going to meet a pretty interesting character in this stage right now. This is Yo's grandpa. In the series, he's kind of sort of a mentor character. There's a lot of mentor characters in Shaman King. He's also very useful because he gives us a page of the Tomb of the Shaman, helping us out a lot. And he's also going to give us a Shikigami to use for our very own. And he's going to teach us about a special type of Guardian Ghost that we kind of met before, but we never really got to establish. Basically, the Shikigami needs leaves in order for him to be used in battle. There's another Guardian Ghost that does that we actually got after this cutscene. Yes, Chimimoryu uses pebbles in order to use the attack, and like I said before, the Shikigami uses leaves in order to work. Now up to this point, I'd say we have a pretty decent collection of leaves. I actually forgot to mention that in the item section you can see just how many leaves and pebbles we have. We also can get one more item. Like Yo's grandpa said, there's one more Guardian Ghost that uses special items in order to be used for their attack. Yeah, I'm wording these things very strangely. Anyways, since we've already gone through this section of levels, I'm just going to go ahead and skip all of it. And we're back to where we started. And from here, we go to this creepy looking level that, well, I've made a lot of Castlevania references before, so I'm going to try and avoid it. Although at the time of this recording, it's getting pretty close to October, so, I don't know, maybe you could call it an early Halloween special, I guess. Oh well, going back to the Shikigami that we got, I probably wouldn't recommend using it because it's really more of a support character. Like if you want to do chip damage over time, that's what it's best to use for. Against smaller enemies that you could easily just swipe at with your sword or just give them a good halo bump, I probably wouldn't recommend. And it's here in this, obviously not Castlevania-esque level, we meet up with a new type of enemy. Skeletons. Just like the ogres, I guess you could call them, that we've seen before. I've called them imps, I've called them ogres. They're all kinds of weirdo demon monsters. Anyways, these skeletons come in multiple varieties, and we'll see them throughout the game. For now, these standard variety skeletons take about 3 hits to kill. I think in hard mode, they take about 4 or 5 hits to kill. But they also drop a little skeleton doll. Here we have a new Guardian Ghost. I believe this one is actually one of the Spirit Unity equipped ones. Yes, it actually increases our maximum health, but I'd say we have pretty good health for now, until we find more Magatama beads. And the interesting here's where the levels start to get a little bit more labyrinthine, because Spoiler alert, we actually have to find a key before we can actually end the level. A little weird, but you gotta do what you gotta do to lengthen gameplay time, right? And like I said before, the levels kind of get labyrinthine in that kind of regard, where you have to keep going through different entrances, go all around the level, trying to find where you have to go, going into areas you didn't know that you could reach, etc., etc. Although, one thing I probably should mention is the Bone Tower enemies that we've also confronted. Those guys, they're basically more of a nuisance than an actual enemy. Really, they mostly just stand there and do nothing. Although you don't get experience in this game, so there's really no point in fighting them, except there's a slight chance that they might drop the bone dolls that we can use for the third Guardian Ghost that requires these special items, but... Actually, now that I think about it, we have to go up here in order to find the key. Now, we could fight these skeletons, or we can just jump over them. They're kind of like zombies in that they really just shuffle. They don't really throw anything at you, or at least these varieties of skeletons don't throw anything at you. Although, I have to say, for skeleton enemies, it's kind of cookie cutter when you think about it. Like, we need some type of enemy for this game. We're running out of characters from the show and the manga. What should we use? How about skeletons? Genius. Although, when we confront the boss to this game, it might make a little bit of sense as to why they chose skeletons. And here we have a bit of a dilemma. I've got way too many items, and we've got 3 things of ramen that we could get. To be honest, I think I would rather go for the ramen, since that recovers your health all the way, rather than just a little bit at a time. Plus, ramen sells for a lot, so if you're more interested in money and using that to get more items, I'd probably recommend that. Anyways, if you noticed before, we got the key, and you can tell you got the key if you look underneath our blue Furioku gauge. And now that we have the key, we can go through the door, and now some would probably think that once we get the key, that we have to keep doing this every time we go through the level, but interestingly enough, you don't have to find the key every time you come back to the level if you need to backtrack. Once you open the door, this blue door right here, it's open automatically every time you go in and out. So yeah, this game doesn't really have too many nuisances when it comes to level design. Although first level, and we already meet a new variety of skeleton enemies, the Bone Archer, I guess you could call it. Basically, these guys just fire arrows. Although we'll meet another type of archer that fires arrows somewhat differently, but the skeleton archers always fire their arrows into the same spot, so if you recognize the pattern, it shouldn't be too hard to dodge the arrow, come in for the counterattack, and take them out quickly. Although I gotta say, this whole spike pit thing with the boxes that you gotta leap over with Tokagero is somewhat interesting. And those bats that drop rocks on you are somewhat annoying, but they're still weak. And here we meet another type of the bone enemies, or skeletons, whatever. Just to show how nerdy I am, these skeletons that pop out of the ground, if you notice, they are somewhat whiter than the normal variety, and they have blue eyes. I'm not sure if, well, since I didn't get hit, I might as well explain. Those blue enemies, they choke you if they get too close to you, which does continuous damage. It also leaves you stunned for a little bit, since, you know, well, it's kind of hard for me to say, but basically they leave you in place while they choke you, meaning that it's easier for more skeletons to come up and do continuous damage. So, word to the wise, don't touch the blue skeleton eye things. And here we find another gimmick to this. Well, I wouldn't say it's a gimmick, but basically the whole scheme for this stage is that there's the crushing ceiling, and you probably noticed another variety of skeletons. These ones just kind of shamble all over the place, and anytime they're defeated, they fall to the ground and they come back to life. Kind of a nuisance, especially since we have to kind of hurry up, since that crushing ceiling can do a lot of damage. In fact, I think at this rate it could probably kill us in one hit. If you're playing this on an emulator, you can probably get through this section relatively fast since, you know, you have the speed up function. Oh no! Oh, for a second there, I thought I was almost dead. Yeah, doing a Let's Play. Playing this game live, so... Okay, with that out of the way, had a little heart attack. We go to this next level. Although the levels are starting to become more and more... I don't know what to say. I think the level design is kind of unique. All the levels look different. I'm finding it harder and harder to say words every day. Yeah, I'd say this section of the level is probably best done with an emulator because it's a lot of slow-moving platforms. And now that I think about it, yes, there's actually a treasure chest here, which means we have to do that little bit of section all over again. Or not. Actually, now that I think about it, yep, there's a treasure chest up there. Not sure if I should edit it or not. Oh well, it's not that long. Although looking at it now, it's kind of funny seeing Yo standing on this platform with one foot. The guy's got a lot of balance. That or the animators were too lazy to make a hobble animation. Kind of like how Sonic does that in the early Sonic games on the Genesis. Where he kind of teeters over a platform that he's too far off to the edge on. Once again, worded that kind of weird. Anyways, here we have another type of enemy, the zombie dogs. And we have a new guardian ghost. Anyways, the skeleton dogs. Yes, I'm going to keep naming them something different. Anyways, skeleton dogs. They're shorter, which means that it's harder to hit them somewhat. I mean, the first strike you try to hit them with will always miss, but the second and third ones should hit pretty easily, or you can just duck and do a regular attack. They don't have that much health, so a ducking attack should do a pretty fair amount. I'd say 2 ducking attacks should be enough, but... And the guardian ghost we got before, Frankensteiny, you see the reference there? Anyways, that thing gives us a speed boost, which means we can move faster. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean the game moves any faster, so these slow-moving platforms, you kind of have to wait a little bit. And if I'm correct, there's actually something important at the end of this platform. Unfortunately, we kind of have to do the whole thing all over again if we get this item. Yes, the treasure chest up here. And it's all sushi I can't carry. And there's another treasure chest here with money. You can never have too much money. And it looks like these skeletons that don't die take 3 hits to kill. So you might want to remember that when you have a situation where you're standing on a platform and you need to get up there as quickly as possible. So we have to activate this platform all over again. Although I'd say a good halo bump would probably do a pretty good amount of damage. Yeah, a halo bump in 1 attack should do enough damage. Although it's really weird how he just kind of stops himself even if you just take a single step. Oh well, animation, what can you do? And once again, bat enemies are somewhat annoying, if I do say so myself. I think there is another treasure chest here, and rather than be an idiot and waste my time and everybody else's time, I'm just going to use Magnoscope. And there is a treasure chest, but I've wasted enough time in this section. Let's just move on to the next level. I'll get the treasure chest off camera. Alright, if I'm correct, we have to go up here in this sort of crypt tower, I guess you could call it, and I get hit by the skeleton archer. Yeah, that's gonna happen every once in a while if you haven't played this game in years, like I have. Although before, when I was a kid, I'd play this game all the time. I'd know just about where everything was. I must have beaten the game 100% on all... Trying to think of what to say. But I played this game all the way through so many times. I played on hard mode. I've played it through 100% multiple times. It's kind of like me and Kingdom Hearts. I just have nothing better to do. And I guess this game kind of shows how the platform is actually pretty good, I have to admit. You know, standard platforming physics where you can control yourself in midair, which always seemed kind of weird to me. And with that, we got a new item, the sandal, which means we can equip another Guardian Ghost. And I'm not sure which one I want. I think I'm going to equip Nizba, so that way I have even attack and defense boosts. But later on, we're going to get new Guardian Ghosts that improve those abilities, so... Yeah, it took me a while to realize, oh wait, I have to hit the switch in order to have it activate. And I don't think I want to go through that whole spiked vagina trap. Yeah, it kind of looks like a spiked vagina trap to me. Once again, I get hit by the skeleton archer, which is really lame. And here we have somewhat of a labyrinth. I'd say somewhat because it's not really too hard to figure out where you have to go and what you have to do to find all the secrets. Here we have another variation of the large imp enemies, these giant red ones that wear green shirts rather than the gray ones, or grayish brown, I guess, that wear blue shirts. They're harder to kill, but they walk so slowly, it's hardly noticeable. Here we have to push another box, because for some odd reason this game loves using Tokagero, even though he's the most useless Guardian Ghost in the entire game, as I've mentioned before. I mean, I get Tokagero is the first story-related Guardian Ghost, so naturally he isn't the best, but with Corey, you can freeze enemies in place for a free hit. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but that whole freezing enemy thing kinda comes in handy. Let's see. New Guardian Ghost, Yophia. Increases our maximum Furyoku recovery speed. That's actually pretty useful. I'd say... I probably might get rid of Nizba. Because it's not really that... I mean... While it is a pretty good defense boost, I'd say it's not really that hard, or it's not... It's pretty easy to avoid enemies and not take that much damage, so I'd say recovering Furyoku is a little bit more important. Yeah, I say defense isn't that good after I get hit. And these things actually hurt. On hard mode, I'd say they probably take a pretty nice bite out of your health. But yeah, with that Furyoku recovery speed boost, we can now use Amidamaru more often. Always good, I think. And here we have another Magatama bead. As you probably noticed before, Magatama bead, once you collect 4, you get a health boost, kind of like the heart pieces in Legend of Zelda. I'm not sure if I mentioned that before, but I'm probably going to forget a lot of stuff I said before, so if I repeat myself, just bear with me, okay? Although I don't get why Magatama beads increase your health. I'm not entirely sure about Japanese spirituality and all that stuff, so I'm not sure if Magatama beads hold some kind of spiritual recovery aspect. I don't know. Yeah, basically, I'm just saying you could easily replace Magatama beads with heart pieces and it would be the same thing. If I'm correct, this is the same area we actually just went through to get that Magatama bead, but instead we go up to the higher level so we can get that treasure chest. Once again, we get slowed down because with a lot of enemies on screen, kind of ruins the frame rate. Took me a while to say that, but kind of ruins the frame rate a little bit. Words fail me. Why? But yeah, with a lot of later Game Boy Advance games, that kind of happened a lot. I know I was playing Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories for the Hellfire Comms KH-a-thon, which you should probably watch once I post that on YouTube. But there were a lot of moments where so many things were happening that the frame rate would just topple over itself. Oh well, with that out of the way, we have more skeletons. I hope you're not tired of those. Although at least the levels do look different. That's one thing I actually like about this game, how almost every level has different variation of colors. All the different enemies you confront, they all look somewhat different. I mean, even though there are a few recolors as far as enemies go, at least there's a lot of variety. You know, like the skeleton archers, the imps, the other shamans we've confronted, the bosses. There's a lot of variety to this game, and I think that's really good, especially for a pretty bare bones adventure game like this. Now remember before when I said we would meet other varieties of skeletons? Well, that red one is one of those. It is actually a fire-based enemy that will do, well, fire damage if it touches you. If you use Kori on it, it'll do boosted damage. Normally, Kori does about 8 points of damage on average. But against a fire enemy, it did like 69 points of damage. So yeah, if you're ever in a fire area, hint hint, excuse me, I had to burp a little. But yeah, if you're ever in a fire area, nudge nudge, wink wink, Kori might actually come in handy, even if it doesn't do that much damage. Although I don't get the point of having the bone archers stand back to back. I mean, basically it means one of them is going to die, since you can easily get both of them in one strike. Oh well. I don't think you have to backtrack into... this fight isn't really too hard, but you're probably drained from the previous two battles, so once you get to this point, you might have little healing items, you might not have a lot of health. But basically, she likes to jump around and dash at you. If you're good at timing with Amidamaru's Halo Bump, you might be able to hit her. But chances are it's a lot easier to hit her when she's leaping into the air. Especially if you time the Halo Bumps like that. Especially since it's a little easier to get her with 2 Halo Bumps. She also likes to do this sort of crescent moon attack where she leaps up into the air and slashes at you. Although, oddly enough, if you get hit with her little axe thing, it does more damage than the actual sickle attack, I think. Or the crescent moon attack. Pretty standard boss, I have to admit, although it's somewhat weird fighting Eliza rather than Faust, like I mentioned in the actual cutscene. Just gonna use some ramen real quick to free up some space, and because I'm running out of health. I can't really think of any other Guardian Ghosts that could probably be helpful in this fight, aside from stat boosting ones. Because really, this whole level is just about getting to this point and beating the boss, which isn't really all that hard. And with Eliza defeated, we get the 4th page of the Tomb of the Shaman, which means we get a maximum Furioku increase. And it turns out that Magister wasn't even going to resurrect Faust's wife because, well, Magister's kind of an asshole. Although I still have to ask, this guy is supposed to be all high and mighty and all powerful. Why doesn't he just kill Yo right now? I mean, he's been a thorn in... I don't know if he's just waiting for Yo to get the page of the Tomb of the Shaman that he's looking for, but it gets dumber at the end, trust me. And with that, we get Faust's wife Eliza working with us. I'll explain a little bit about what what Eliza's special ability is. Needless to say, it's very, very useful. Although if you're paying attention to the dialogue, I don't need to explain what Eliza does. Oh well, I'm Super Cold Chaos, and next time we'll be doing more shit. See you later.